In 1975, an engineer at Kodak built a machine that would one day destroy his own company. It was the size of a toaster. It weighed nearly 4 kilograms, and it took 23 seconds to capture a single image. That machine was the world's first digital camera, and Kodak chose to bury it. To understand why, you have to understand just how powerful Kodak once was. For most of the 20th century, if you took a photograph, you used Kodak. They controlled around 90% of film sales in America, 85% of camera sales. The word Kodak didn't just mean a brand. It meant the memory itself. But here is the secret of how they actually made their money. Kodak barely profited from selling cameras. They sold those cheap, almost to cost. The real fortune was in what came after. The film, the chemicals, the paper, the printing. Every photo you ever took put money back in Kodak's pocket. Again and again and again. It was a perfect machine for printing money. And then a young engineer threatened all of it. His name was Steven Sasson. He was 24 years old. His boss had given him a vague, almost throwaway project. Could you build a camera with no film at all? Nobody expected anything to come of it. But Sasson did something nobody had done before. He captured light with a sensor, turned it into numbers, and stored it on a cassette tape. For the first time in history, a photograph existed with no film, no chemicals, and no paper. He carried his invention into a room full of Kodak executives and showed them the future. Their reaction was not excitement. It was quiet, polite horror, because every executive in that room understood exactly what they were looking at. A photograph with no film meant a future with no film sales, the end of the money machine. So they made a decision that would echo for the next 40 years. They told Sasson it was a nice idea, and to make sure nobody ever heard about it, Kodak patented the technology, locked it in a drawer, and went back to selling film. And for a while it worked. The profits kept flowing. The denial held. But you cannot patent away the future. You can only delay it. Through the 80s and 90s, those buried patents quietly earned Kodak billions in licensing. Other companies used Kodak's own invention to build the cameras that would replace Kodak. By the 2000s, the world had gone digital. Film was dying fast. And Kodak, the company that invented this exact moment, was completely unprepared for it. They had seen the future in 1975 and looked away. They tried to catch up. They tried to pivot. But the lead they once had was gone. In 2012, Kodak filed for bankruptcy. A company that had stood for over 130 years, brought down by its own invention. The first digital camera wasn't built by a rival. It was built inside Kodak, and Kodak chose fear. They protected the past so carefully that they lost the future entirely. Steven Sasson, the man who built it, was later given a national medal for his invention. The world celebrated the camera that Kodak had spent decades trying to hide. Every photo on your phone right now traces back to a machine Kodak was too afraid to sell. So here's the question worth sitting with. What is the next industry holding its own future in a drawer, too afraid to open it? If a story like that stays with you, subscribe. There's a new one every week.